For generations, the American dream has been sold as a promise. Work hard, play by the rules, and you'll be rewarded with stability, freedom, and prosperity. It's a powerful idea, one that has attracted millions of immigrants, inspired countless movies, and shaped the identity of the United States of America itself. But today, more Americans are asking a painful question. Is the American dream still achievable, or has it quietly slipped out of reach? When you strip away the slogans and the nostalgia, the American dream has always boiled down to a few core goals. And right now, those goals are becoming harder, sometimes nearly impossible, for the average American to achieve. What I'm going to do in this video is break down the top 3 pillars of the American dream and why each one is becoming more and more difficult for the average American to achieve. However, there is a new American dream. We're going to get right into that. I'm Mike. Welcome back to my channel. Number 1, home ownership, the foundation of stability. For most Americans, owning a home has long been the centerpiece of the American dream. A house represents more than shelter. It's stability, independence, and a path to building generational wealth. For decades, buying a home meant looking in a predictable monthly payment, watching equity grow, and eventually passing something down valuable to your children. But today, home ownership has become a moving target. Housing prices have exploded far faster than wages. And where I'm from, the Seattle area, the only home I could afford to purchase was a 600 square foot, 1-bedroom condo. In many other cities, even modest homes now cost 5, 6, or even 7 times the average annual income. Mortgage rates, once historically low, have risen sharply, pushing monthly payments out of reach for even middle-class earners. Meanwhile, down payments, once achievable with discipline and savings, now feel like an impossible hurdle. What's also problematic is that you could put 3% down or even nothing down, and then if the market tanks, you could owe more on a house than what it's worth for many years. Renting hasn't become any easier. Rents have surged nationwide, often rising faster than inflation. Many renters are spending 40, even 50% of their income just to keep a roof over their heads with a home, apartment, house that they don't even own. And then they have little room for saving for a future home. Add in property taxes, insurance costs, and maintenance, and the math simply doesn't work for many families. What was once a realistic milestone in your late 20s or early 30s is now being pushed into your 40s or abandoned entirely. For the first time in modern history, many Americans fear that they may be worse off than their parents, not better. And when homeownership disappears, so does one of the most reliable wealth-building tools the middle class has ever known. Number 2, a secure, well-paying job. Work hard, get ahead. Another core promise of the American dream is simple. If you work hard, you'll be rewarded with a decent living. You may not get rich, but you'll earn enough to support a family, take vacations, retire with dignity, and feel secure. That promise is cracking. While productivity has skyrocketed over the past several decades, wages for average workers have barely moved when adjusted for inflation. Many jobs that once supported an entire household now barely cover the basic expenses. Benefits like pension, job security, and employer-paid health care, once common, have largely vanished. Instead, workers face contract work, gig jobs, unpredictable schedules, and the constant fear of getting laid off. Even highly educated professionals aren't immune. College graduates often enter the workforce buried under student loan debt, only to find jobs that don't pay enough to justify the cost of their education. Meanwhile, the cost of everything tied to getting ahead keeps rising: childcare, healthcare, transportation, and education. A single medical emergency can wipe out years of savings. One job loss can trigger a financial freefall. The message many Americans are receiving today is brutally different from the one that they were promised. Working harder doesn't necessarily mean getting ahead. It often means just staying afloat. For many Americans, working for someone else isn't for them. For decades, owning your own business has been one of the core symbols of the American dream. You start with an idea, pour your heart into it, and if you succeed, you become your own boss, build wealth, and create something meaningful. But today, that dream feels like it's slipping out of reach for many Americans. Starting a business has always come with risk, but the odds today are steeper than they used to be, and more so than most people realize. According to the latest small business survival data, about 20% of new small businesses fail within their first year, and roughly half of all small businesses shut down within the first 5 years. By the time you hit 10 years in business, about 65% of startups no longer exist. That means only around 1 in 3 businesses will make it a decade. Those numbers don't even capture the full emotional, financial toll behind the statistics. Imagine investing your life savings into something you poured your soul into, only to see it struggle or fail because of cash flow issues, insufficient demand, or unforeseen costs. Nearly 1/3 of small business failures happen because owners simply run out of money, and a large percentage close because there just wasn't enough market demand for what they were selling. Today's economic landscape is tougher than it used to be. Higher interest rates make borrowing more expensive. Inflation pushes up rents, wages, and materials. Marketing and tech investment, once optional, are now essential to stay competitive online. And while entrepreneurship is often romanticized, the hard truth is that risk and uncertainty are things businesses are faced with. These realities mean even passionate, hardworking entrepreneurs can find themselves outpaced by competitors who have easier access to capital, larger teams, and better technology. This creates a deeper structural problem. When the average person can't realistically expect to start and grow a viable business, the American dream of economic independence feels less attainable. So if you're thinking about starting a business, go in with your eyes wide open. Educate yourself, build a solid plan, and understand that passion alone won't protect you from the grind. But also recognize something important. Entrepreneurship still matters. Even if the odds are tough, building something your community needs can be one of the most rewarding journeys that you will ever take. The American dream hasn't completely vanished. It's just changed. At least that's the way it is for me. I never thought that the American dream was supposed to be guaranteed, but it was supposed to be attainable. Right now, for me and millions of other Americans, it feels like the rules were rewritten mid-game. For decades, the American dream followed a familiar script. Buy a house, climb the career ladder, and retire comfortably and live better than the generation before you. But somewhere along the way, that dream changed. Or maybe it didn't change, maybe it just stopped working for a lot of people. Stopped working because they could no longer afford it. But there is a new American dream. that new American dream looks very different. It's no longer about keeping up. It's about opting out. And for me, that dream became a reality, not in the United States, but right here in the Philippines. The new American dream isn't about owning the biggest house or driving the newest car, keeping up with the Joneses. It's about freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, peace of mind, and it's about waking up without constant financial anxiety. It's about living, not surviving. Back in the US, even doing everything right often isn't enough anymore. Work full time and you're still one emergency away from financial trouble. Housing costs eat up your income. Healthcare is a gamble. Retirement feels like a moving goalpost that keeps drifting farther and farther away, and the pressure never really stops. For many Americans, the dream has quietly shifted from getting ahead to simply not falling behind. And that's where the Philippines changed everything for me. Here, the cost of living makes sense again. Housing is affordable. Everyday expenses don't feel like a constant negotiation. You can live well without grinding yourself into the ground. Suddenly, money becomes a tool, not a source of nonstop stress. But the new American dream isn't just about a lower cost of living. It's about quality of life. In the Philippines, life moves at a human pace. People still value relationships, conversation, and community. There's time to breathe, time to think, time to actually enjoy the day instead of racing through it at a breakneck speed. That's something money alone can't buy. Another part of the new American dream is choice. Living abroad gives you options. You're no longer locked into one system, one economy, or one way of life. You can design your life intentionally instead of inheriting one by default. For me, success is no longer measured by square footage or job titles. It's measured by freedom, health, and happiness. It's measured by how much control I have over my life. It's measured by waking up excited about the day instead of dreading it. And that's the real shift. The new American dream isn't anti-America. It's recognizing that the world is bigger than one country, and that opportunity doesn't have to come with burnout, debt, or constant stress. For some people, the new American dream might mean remote work. For others, it might mean downsizing, changing careers, or leaving the US altogether. For me, it meant escaping to the Philippines. The dream didn't just disappear, it just moved. And sometimes to find it, you have to be willing to look beyond the borders that you were told defined success. Well, that's going to wrap up this video. Perhaps you're considering re-evaluating what the American dream is. And if you're considering moving abroad, become a subscriber to my channel, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, hit the bell notification. Then you'll be alerted to future videos. God bless and peace out.